The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra is back after a 2-year pause. For the musicians, the opportunity to entertain live audiences is a relief from the pressures brought about by the deadly coronavirus. For chief flautist Kanyisile Matwetwa, sitting at the back of the stage is unfamiliar territory for one of the country's top musicians. Pre-COVID, she would be perched next to the conductor, but today she is surrounded by plastic shields with a healthy distance between herself and the next instrumentalist. It's one of many sacrifices she has had to make to perform on stage again.
I think in May, that's when it kind of really hit me that there's nothing. There's no performance. There's no way out of this. We're not going to get out of this for another year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years. This is like here to stay. And I'm in an industry, and especially I play the flute, an instrument which at the time people were like, the flute is so dangerous, it spreads air everywhere. It was like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to play again?
The Soweto-born musician is the youngest of 7 children. At 14, she witnessed a musical performance which inspired her to pick up the flute. 2 decades later, a music teacher and mother of 2, Matwetwa says she has traveled the world, studied abroad, and owes everything to her passion for music. During the lockdown, she lost all stage work and had to take her children out of school. It was a difficult time, but she continued to train budding musicians through digital platforms and continued to play music with other artists through online concerts.
Unfortunately, when you're playing for speakers to do a YouTube video or something, that release isn't quite there because there's no one there to get the energy. Just seeing people afterwards, there was this one guy in the front row after we finished playing who had like tears running down his face, and he was like this, like he was in church, you know? So you realize that concerts and music is church for some people.
Musicians like Matwetwa were kept afloat by a $20 million fund created by the government to help artists get through the lockdown. The chief executive of the opera, Bongani Tembe, says these grants managed to keep the orchestra going.
Our own resources plus the income earned through these videos. For the first year, musicians earned roughly about 70 to 80% of their normal, what they would have earned normally.
It's not just the local artists who are glad to be back on stage. One of the highlights of this year's performances is the lineup of international talent, like German conductor Justice France, who was excited to be traveling and learning from his African counterparts.
To see all these wonderful musicians and see that their heart really is burning, that is a big inspiration also for me, and my heart also is burning.
The show was a success, but more importantly, artists like Matwetwa are doing what they were born to do: perform in a room filled with adoring fans. Zaheer Cassim for VOA News, Johannesburg.